It doesn't look like anything. It never does. Just a rock, tumbling through the dark between Mars and Jupiter, the same way it has tumbled for 4.5 billion years. But inside this rock, in its iron bones and platinum veins, sits more wealth than all the money ever printed, earned, spent, or dreamed of in the entire history of human civilization. We just haven't figured out how to take it yet. This is that story. The asteroid belt is not a crowded chaos of colliding rocks. If you flew a spacecraft through it, the odds of hitting anything are nearly zero. The real belt is vast, silent, and almost incomprehensibly empty. A ring of debris 280 million kilometers wide, where the average distance between objects is larger than the distance between Earth and the Moon. There are roughly 2 million asteroids large enough to detect, and yet the entire belt combined contains less mass than our own Moon. Here's the number: $700 quintillion. That's $700 quintillion. That is the estimated mineral wealth locked inside the asteroid belt. For context, Earth's entire global economy, every dollar in every bank, every stock, every property, every grain of corn and barrel of oil, is worth roughly $500 trillion. The asteroid belt contains approximately 1 million times that. In iron, in nickel, in cobalt, in platinum group metals, so rare on Earth, we measure them in parts per billion. And here's the part that stops people cold. The asteroid belt's total mass is smaller than our Moon. Something smaller than the Moon is worth 1 million Earths. How? How know her? Because Earth is keeping a secret. When Earth was young and still molten, gravity did something that would haunt us for billions of years. It sorted us. The heaviest elements, iron, nickel, platinum, iridium, gold, sank. They fell through the liquid rock and disappeared into the core, 2,000 miles beneath our feet. Unreachable, gone. The crust that hardened above them, the thin shell where all of human civilization lives, was left with almost nothing. Every gram of platinum ever mined on Earth's surface, it didn't come from Earth. It came from asteroids. Billions of years of cosmic impacts, showering our depleted crust with the metals it lost. We have been living off asteroid scraps our entire history. The main course is still out there. So the treasure has always been there, and we have always known, on some level, that it existed. Space agencies mapped these rocks. Scientists calculated their composition. Economists ran the numbers and went quiet for a long time afterward. So what took us so long? You might think technology, the rockets, the robots, the distance. But the real answer is stranger than that. The reason no one rushed to the asteroid belt isn't physics, it's ownership. Because before you send a single machine into space to extract a single gram of platinum, you have to answer a question that no legal system on Earth was built to handle. Who does space belong to? And the answer, it turns out, is complicated and dangerous, and already being decided right now by people with more money than most nations. In 1967, the world's superpowers agreed on one thing: space belongs to no one. The Outer Space Treaty, signed by over 100 nations, including the United States, the Soviet Union, and China, declared that no country could claim sovereignty over the Moon, the planets, or any celestial body. It was written for a world of nation-states. A world where only governments had rockets. A world before Elon Musk, before Jeff Bezos, before private orbital launch vehicles, reusable rockets, and the commercial space economy that crossed 600 billion in 2025. The people who wrote the Outer Space Treaty never imagined what was coming, and they left a loophole you could fly an asteroid through. In 2015, the United States Congress passed the Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act, and buried in its pages was a clause that rewrote the rules of the solar system. It said, simply, American citizens have the right to own resources they extract from space, not the asteroid, not the body it came from, just what they pull out of it. Lawyers immediately called it the fisherman's doctrine because it mirrors the law of the sea. No one owns the ocean, but you can keep the fish. No one owns the asteroid, but if you can get there, drill it, and bring it back, it's yours. Luxembourg passed nearly identical legislation in 2017. The UAE followed. Japan, the UAE. The list grows every year. The asteroid gold rush was given, quietly, legal permission to begin. All it needed was someone willing to actually go. The players are already on the board. Astroforge, a California startup, launched its first test mission in 2023, aiming to refine asteroid material in orbit before returning it to Earth. Planetary Resources, the pioneer, ran out of funding and was quietly absorbed. But its patents, its engineers, its vision survived. SpaceX hasn't announced an asteroid mining mission. They don't need to. They're building the infrastructure everyone else will use to get there, and charging for every kilogram. And then there are the sovereign wealth funds, the quiet money, the Norwegian pension funds, the Gulf state investment arms, the Chinese state enterprises. None of them are on the press releases. All of them are buying equity in the companies that will own the first off-planet supply chain. The asteroid belt already has investors. It just doesn't have miners yet. Here's something that will make you stop. The legal architecture for the asteroid mining industry. The framework that will govern who owns what in the belt, how disputes are resolved, how extraction rights are assigned across the solar system, is being written in Luxembourg, a country of 660,000 people, smaller than many American cities. Luxembourg has no spaceport, no rockets, no astronauts. What it has is a history of doing exactly this kind of thing. In the 20th century, Luxembourg became the media satellite capital of Europe, not by launching the most satellites, but by writing the most attractive laws for those who did. They are doing it again, and this time the stakes aren't television broadcasts, they're planetary. The Artemis Accords, led by NASA and signed by over 40 nations as of 2026, establish norms for space resource extraction, safety zones, transparency requirements, the right to extract. China refused to sign, Russia refused. Both are developing their own lunar and deep space programs. Both have identified the same asteroids as strategic resources. Both understand what controlling the belt's water, and therefore rocket fuel, means for every mission beyond Earth orbit. The Cold War never ended. It moved, and the frontier it's moving to has no borders, no enforcement, and no history of what happens when two superpowers both try to claim the same rock floating 300 million kilometers from home. The law says you can mine it. The treaties say you can try. But the asteroid belt doesn't care about any of that, because first, you have to survive it. Engineering for Earth is the only engineering humans have ever really done. Our tools assume gravity. They assume air to carry heat away. They assume a ground that pushes back. There is no gravity to anchor your drill. There is no atmosphere to cool your motors. Temperatures on a single asteroid swing from 150 degrees below zero in shadow to 120 degrees above in sunlight, sometimes within minutes, as the rock rotates. Every drill bit, every motor, every sensor, every wire insulation, it was built for a planet. And the asteroid belt is not a planet. It is something entirely else. It was borax, and before we could mine it, we had to learn that lesson the hard way. In 2019, Japan's Hayabusa 2 probe arrived at asteroid Ryuk after a 3.5-year journey. It tried to land. It couldn't, not because of a malfunction, but because Ryuk's surface is barely a surface at all. Scientists had expected solid rock. What they found was a loosely aggregated pile of boulders and pebbles, held together not by strength, but by the faint whisper of its own gravity. Touch it wrong and you sink. Touch it right and you bounce. Ryugu's surface gravity is so weak that if you sneezed on it, you would launch yourself into space. This is the thing we want to mine. This shifting, tumbling, almost not there pile of ancient gravel, spinning in the void at thousands of kilometers per hour. And somehow, we need to park a machine on it, anchor it, and start pulling material out, without knocking the whole thing apart. And they built new things. Magnetic anchoring systems, because many asteroids are rich in iron, and iron responds to magnets. Harpoon tether mechanisms, borrowed from whaling ships and reinvented for microgravity, fired into the rock to hold a spacecraft in place. Swarm mining drones, autonomous, coordinated, each one small enough that its own thrusters overcome any recoil from its drilling. No single point of failure. If 10 are lost, 100 remain. And electrostatic dust capture, using static charge to collect the finest grained asteroid material. The same physics that makes your shirt cling to your sweater, scaled up to harvest planetary resources. None of these technologies fully existed a decade ago. Most of them will be operational within this decade. The machines that eat rocks are almost ready, but the real revelation isn't the metal they'll find, it's the water. Everyone talks about the platinum, the gold, the iron. The people who understand what's actually at stake talk about the water. Roughly a third of asteroids in the C-type classification, the dark, carbon-rich variety, contain water ice locked in their rock. Water in space is not for drinking. Water is rocket fuel, split it with electricity, a process called electrolysis, and you get hydrogen and oxygen, the two components of the most powerful rocket propellant ever developed. The first company to build a water extraction facility on a C-type asteroid and convert that water into rocket propellant in orbit doesn't just mine a rock. They build a gas station at the edge of the inner solar system. And every spacecraft, government or private, that wants to go beyond that point has to stop there. That is not a mining company. That is a toll booth on the highway to the outer solar system. That is power on a scale no nation on Earth has ever held. The most radical idea in asteroid mining isn't what we extract, it's what we build. In situ resource utilization, ISRU, is the engineering philosophy of using what's already there. Don't ship tools from Earth at thousands of dollars per kilogram. Ship a single 3D printer and a solar furnace. Use the asteroid's own iron to print more drills. Use its own rock to build structure. Power the whole operation with a solar array manufactured from its own silicon. A mine that builds itself, that grows itself, from almost nothing, carried across 300 million kilometers in a payload the size of a shipping container. The technology isn't theoretical. ISRU systems have been tested on the moon. The math works. The materials are there. The only thing left is will and money, which brings us to the problem that makes every engineer go quiet. The technology is ready. Let's run the numbers. Asteroid 16 Psyche, a metal-rich body roughly the size of Massachusetts, is estimated to contain enough iron-nickel to supply Earth's current demand for millions of years. Its platinum group metal content alone exceeds everything ever mined in human history by a factor of thousands. Now, what happens if you deliver that to Earth? The platinum price collapses overnight, not by 10%, not by 50%, by orders of magnitude. Then platinum isn't just jewelry. It's catalytic converters, fuel cells, cancer treatment drugs, industrial chemical reactions that keep modern civilization running. The nations whose entire economies are built on platinum mining, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Russia, face complete economic collapse. The wealth isn't destroyed, it's redistributed so fast, so completely, that the systems built to manage it simply break. The asteroid belt isn't just a treasure chest. Here's what the most sophisticated investors understand that nobody's saying out loud. The first trillionaire in the asteroid belt will not get rich by flooding Earth with metal. They will get rich by controlling how much metal arrives. Think about what that means. They have access to essentially unlimited platinum, cobalt, nickel, iron, but unlimited supply destroys price. So instead, they release it slowly, strategically, just enough to undercut existing miners, enough to dominate the market, but not enough to collapse it. They don't become the richest person on Earth by having the most resources. They become the richest person in history by having a monopoly on scarcity itself. The ability to make something abundant, but choose not to. History has a name for this. We just haven't had to apply it to an entire planet's resource supply before. We have a case study for what happens when you flood an economy with sudden, overwhelming resource wealth. In the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors extracted so much gold and silver from the Americas that the European money supply increased by a factor of 5 within a century. The result, 150 years of destabilizing inflation called the Price Revolution. Governments fell, famines followed, social orders that had lasted for centuries collapsed. The Spanish Empire, the very power that caused the influx, eventually bankrupted itself 3 times because its own currency became worthless. They had more silver than any civilization in history, and it destroyed them. Now imagine that inflation event applied not to one continent, but to Earth's entire integrated global economy. Applied not to silver alone, but to every strategic industrial metal simultaneously. applied not over a century, but over a decade. But here's the other scenario, the one the engineers dream about at 2 a.m. Cobalt today is mined largely by hand in the Democratic Republic of Congo, often by children, in conditions that would be illegal in every wealthy nation that buys the batteries those children produce. Cobalt is essential for electric vehicles, for the green transition, for the energy future every government has promised. Asteroid cobalt could make it abundant, cheap, clean to extract. Cheap asteroid metals mean cheap solar panels, cheap wind turbines, cheap grid storage, the materials that clean energy desperately needs, but can barely afford to deploy at scale. The asteroid belt, accessed correctly, could end resource wars, could close the mines that scar entire nations, could make the green energy transition not a decades-long economic struggle, but a rapid, affordable transformation. Both are possible. Which one arrives depends entirely on what happens next. Whether asteroid wealth becomes humanity's liberation or its final monopoly depends on who gets there first. And the race is not coming, it is already happening. In orbital mechanics labs, engineers are calculating the lowest energy trajectories to the most valuable targets. In legal offices in Luxembourg, Washington, and Beijing, frameworks are being quietly finalized. In launch facilities on 3 continents, spacecraft are being assembled that carry no passengers, only machines designed to do one thing: find the richest rock, anchor to it, and begin. The first trillionaires of the asteroid belt are not mythological figures, they are alive. Some of them are reading financial reports about this right now. Some of them signed checks for this yesterday. The first person to achieve wealth that can be accurately described as $1 trillion from asteroid resources is, by most credible estimates, already alive. The timeline, according to aerospace economists and industry analysts, runs something like this. Commercial prospecting reaches the inner belt within the next decade. Extraction tests begin in the early 2030s. And sometime in the 2040s, perhaps the 2050s, a balance sheet somewhere will cross a threshold that makes every previous concept of wealth look like a rounding error. That person is alive today. They may not know it yet, but somewhere in the decisions they are making right now, the companies they're funding, the engineers they're hiring, the asteroids they've already quietly claimed trajectory rights to, the future is being written in their name. We keep imagining the first asteroid trillionaire as someone with a number in a bank, but that's not what this will look like. The wealth of the asteroid belt cannot be measured in dollars, because dollars are a system built for Earth-scale economics. The first person to truly claim the asteroid belt won't have a bank account worth $1 trillion. They will have something that no bank account can represent: control of infrastructure that everything else depends on. The fuel depot that all spacecraft must use, the processing station that converts raw asteroid material into usable industrial metal, the communication relays that every mission to the outer solar system routes through, the autonomous manufacturing network that produces the components every space agency in the world needs. They won't be a trillionaire, they'll be a kingdom. And kingdoms don't have account balances, they have subjects. The The efficient answer is robots. Send machines. They don't need air, food, or psychological support. They don't get lonely, scared, or sick. They can operate in temperatures that would kill a human in seconds and work continuously for years without rest. For the early phases of asteroid mining, the prospecting, the extraction, the processing, artificial intelligence and robotics are almost certainly the right tool. But here is what history tells us, without exception. Wherever extraction goes, humans follow. The fishing boats went first, then came the ports. The trading routes went first, then came the cities. The mining claims went first, then came the miners, then came their families, then came everything else. The asteroid belt, if it becomes economically productive at scale, will eventually, inevitably, have people in it, people who were born there, people who have never seen Earth except as a bright blue star, its home. Every dollar, yuan, euro, and ruble in existence represents something that was once part of Earth's closed system. A finite planet, finite resources, finite land. For the entire history of human civilization, wealth has been a competition for a share of something limited. If you had more, someone else had less. The asteroid belt breaks that equation. For the first time in history, there is wealth that is not redistributed from anywhere. 4.6 billion years ago, some of that scattered dust gathered here, in this region between Mars and Jupiter, and tried to form a planet. Jupiter wouldn't allow it, so the dust became rocks, the rocks became asteroids, and the asteroids just waited. They waited through the formation of Earth, through the first rain, through the first cell, through the first thought. Drifting in the dark between Mars and Jupiter, indifferent, patient, inconceivably rich, and for the first time, for the very first time in 4.6 billion years, something from the third rock from the sun is heading toward them, with a drill, with a name. The asteroids don't know that, but we do, and the names that reach them first will be the first names in a new kind of history, where it was always waiting.